Now we're going to go back to those elections in the UK, in fact, because one key battle in those elections is health. The Labour Party has promised to appoint 2,000 new nurses and many more doctors to ensure across the UK that all families can see a doctor within 48 hours. The Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats, they're pledging to inject €12 billion to plug the current gap in health funding. Well, today, Focus reports from Wales, where health decisions are in fact devolved to the Welsh Assembly, controlled by Labour. Well, Hervé Emmerich and Fanny Bouteille report now from Bangor on the north coast.
Ivan is a Welsh nurse with a passion for rugby. 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer. In Wales, where public healthcare decisions are taken locally, the National Health Service refused to fund the only treatment that could save his life. But Ivan's fighting spirit is stronger than ever.
I'm not going to let this illness stop me from doing things. I'm not going to let this illness keep me at home, in bed, or feeling sorry for myself. I have to make the most of life. I have to make the most of every day and enjoy myself. And this is a passion of mine that I will never give up on.
Every 2 weeks, Ivan has to drive 2 hours from Wales to Manchester, where he receives treatment, paid for by the English Cancer Drugs Fund. A journey he could do without.
It is very stressful because it takes me away, obviously, from Becky and the children. The children often ask where I am, whereas previously I was just going up to the local hospital and having my treatments. But now I'm away from the family for 2 or 3 days.
Thousands of people like Ivan travel to England for some medical treatments. Kate Northcott campaigns to put an end to this situation.
So you literally have, over the river is Wales. These people will not have the access or the treatment scans or the treatment drugs as these people, literally across the bridge. This cannot be right. We are United Kingdom, it's a national health service, and people should not die prematurely because of a policy.
Since last year, the Williamses have been fighting against a Welsh policy they see as blatantly unfair.
The whole process has been degrading, I find, almost feeling like you're begging for Ivan's life.
I pay my taxes, have paid my taxes all my life to the British government, and of course it's the British government or in Westminster that provides the money to the Welsh government, but they are allowed to decide what they do with it.
Some big names in the Welsh music scene have lent their voices to Ivan's campaign. So far, he has raised over €100,000 to help other cancer sufferers.
The campaign up to now has been very successful in that it's, first of all, raised awareness of the problem, not only in Wales but further afield as well. And I think there are some people who are very shocked at the situation.
Ivan's case has already had an impact on the election campaign. The nationalists of Plaid Cymru have made the issue a national priority.
I've been supporting Ivan Williams in his campaign and managed to get a question to the Prime Minister just before we finished. And he said some very supportive things. I'm not a Conservative and I don't support the Conservatives, but I was glad to see a Conservative Prime Minister saying that he should get the treatment that he needs.
Across the UK, Conservative candidates like Anwen Barry are telling voters that Labour has a poor track record in running the NHS in Wales.
I don't think that I would want to trust Labour with the economy and with the health service at national level when I've seen what's happened here under the Welsh Assembly, which is controlled by Labour.
Labour's Alan Pugh has been campaigning on a pledge to raise the minimum wage from £6.50 to £8 an hour. But for some voters, health is clearly a bigger issue.
It's about cancer care, and patients having to go across the border.
Sure. There are substantial differences between the performance of the NHS, not just across England and Wales, but around the United Kingdom. The real issue is we need substantial amount of investment, and that's why Labour will introduce a mansion tax, and that's why Labour will introduce a levy on tobacco companies.
Economists like Anita Charlesworth have a sobering message for politicians. Don't make promises that you will not be able to keep.
over the next 5 years, the money that's being called for won't allow the NHS to substantially expand the quality and range of care. It is about keeping the current service available to people and doing that more efficiently. So we're not going to go through a period where the service can commit to lots of new innovations for people.
So far, no one has produced a magic cure for the ills of the British health service.